Welcome to MCC Tech Days 2020. I'm Brian Such, Executive Vice President of Marubeni Citizen-Cincom. And on behalf of the entire MCC team and our national distributor network, I would like to thank you for joining us today. As we changed plans after IMTS was canceled, we knew we needed to create our own alternative to IMTS. Our outcome is to offer 4 days of live demos streaming from all 4 MCC offices, demoing Cincom and Miano machines, our tooling and accessories, along with our automation department offerings, all of our MCC technology. We also always have heavy dealer support to our IMTS efforts and knew we wanted to include our dealers in these tech days. Please enjoy this next demo. We invite you to ask questions live as needed. Our team is happy to answer any questions you may have. After each session, we will share some videos from our distributor team and also update all with our promotional efforts along with financing options. Thank you again for joining us in MCC Tech Days.
Welcome to the MCC Elk Grove, Illinois office, one of 4 offices MCC has in the USA covering North America. We employ over 125 people that cover the sales and support of our machinery throughout North America at our 17 local distributors, which all have their own sales and support staff. Local distributors, which means you get the answers and support quickly when needed so your company can keep running. As you briefly see some of the machines that we have here at our office, I can tell you that on average we have around 80 machines on display at MCC and distributor showrooms across North America. In addition to those machines, we have around another 180 machines in our California warehouse ready to ship to customers or distributors quickly. We also have many other units in various stages of production and shipping. This keeps a constant flow of machinery to our warehouse, showrooms, and customers. This allows us to quickly have hands-on demonstrations or test cuts at various locations, and you don't need to wait for an IMTS or other trade show to see a machine in person if needed. And when you decide to buy, we can quickly deliver the machine you need so that you can start making money as quick as possible. In addition to machines available when you need them, we carry around $15 million worth of spare parts in our USA warehouses, meaning quick delivery if your machine goes down. And everyone knows a machine isn't making money if it's not making parts. Hi, my name is Rich Miller, and I'm Regional Manager here at Marubeni Citizen-Cincom, and welcome to Tech Days. Today I'm going to be showing the BNA 42S and a little history on Miano. Miano was started way back in 1929 making industrial files. If you were a machinist or a skilled tradesperson back in those days, you probably had a file or 2 in your toolbox. In 1948, Miano created the AL-S25, which was the first automatic cam-operated lathe made in Japan. Since then, they made very reliable, accurate, heavy-duty machines to run high production. And they sold so many machines that, in fact, they were making assembly machines, not making machines, but assembling the machines just down the road here in Wooddale, Illinois. In 2010, Citizen acquired Miano and is today a product that's made by Citizen alongside our Cincom Swiss machines. So back to the BNA 42S. This is one of 4 models in the BNA family, and I think it's one of the most overlooked machines because it doesn't have the pop and the factors of all the other machines that have extra features on them. This is a simple sub-spindle machine, so you can get parts dropped off complete. This machine, if you have parts that are 42 millimeter diameter and 100 millimeters, which is 4 inches long, the length thing is just because of the part catcher. You can run longer parts. You can get longer parts in the parts conveyor, parts specific. This is a machine that's hard to beat on value. Make no mistake, this is not a commodity 2-axis lathe that you go out and purchase from one of the other builders and stick a bar feed on it and expect to run production all the time. This is a bar-fed machine built from the ground up. This machine right here, you can see the heavy-duty casting base. down at the bottom, comes all the way to the front of the machine. Most machines, you'll have a chip pan down there, coolant pan that's easy to pull out, but this has got casting all the way to the front. We have heavy duty spindles to take all that vibration from the bars whipping around. The spindles are heavy duty. They're made with double angular contact roller bearings at the front for speed and heavy duty cylindrical roller bearings at the back for rigidity. You can bring that in now. We're going to look into the machine. As we go over some of the features in the machine, the main spindle is a 6,000 RPM, 10 horsepower spindle with a flat nose adapter on it. The sub spindle is 5,000 RPM, 7.3 horsepower, also flat nose. We have an 8-station turret, and it has half indexing, so we have 16 total positions on the turret. Each one of the 8 stations are 5,000 RPM, 3.7 horsepower, and 16 Newton meters of torque, which torque is what you need for heavy duty accurate cuts. The machines are box-way design, hand scrape. Miyano's been making machines that way for a long time. Though that way of making ways creates a machine that will stay accurate and need very little adjustment over a long period of time. So going on to what is included with this machine, and we try and do what Miyano did in the past, which was deliver a machine that has everything included so that you can get up, start running without having a lot of extras that you need to purchase later on. So included with this machine, we have the parts catcher that we talked about before. This is the 4-inch parts catcher that would come up and take the part. Parts catcher drops it down to a part conveyor. That part conveyor is included. We also include the chip conveyor, because you're going to be creating lots of chips with this as it runs continuously. We also include the 2 collet chucks. These are B42 collet chucks that are included with the machine. We also include the pat light so that you know when your machine is running and not running. Also included is a static tool package. So we can go back in a little bit closer to the machine. So included with this is the cutoff tool holder. And then Jinho, can you bring it down? And we include 3 of these double turning tool holders. So you can put tool holder on the front and the back. So you get 3 of those. Plus you're going to get, this is a knee holder. This is for the half index position. You get 2 of these included. So you can see we have 2 knee holders installed on this machine. Bring it down 2 more stations. And so this tool holder right here is a triple drill holder. We include 1 of these in the package also. And then we also include 3 double drill holders in this package. And those are not in here. These are live tools, and unfortunately those are not included. You have to purchase those as options. And then we also include some bushings to get you started, some drill bushings. There's also what they call filler tubes or spindle tubes that supports your bar in the main spindle. There's 5 of those included also. The part we're making is a steel part, and what we wanted to show off today on this machine is how much this simple machine could do. So we're having 19 tools in this machine running, and we still have room for more depending on the part. So we're going to show this part running in brass so you can get a closer view of all the tools into this. So we can go to the live video or the tape video of the part. So here's the BNA42S, same machine. And so here's the double live holder. We're going to index down to that position. We're doing a rough cut on the front side. You'll notice after this rough cut gets done on the main spindle, there's no index. We're just going to move right back to the back spindle. So there was no index time there. We're just right to the next cut. Next position's coming down, another double tool holder, and this is the finish turn. Again, no index as it's going to go from this position to the front position. Finish turn on the front side. The next tool you'll see coming in here is going to be the half index holder. That's going to have a groove tool in it. Here's the groove tool finishing this. And now another knee holder, and this one has the threading tool in it. So we're threading here. Coming back, remove all the burrs and a spring pass with the threading tool. Next up is that triple holder, going in with a 1/2 inch indexable drill on the front side. We're going to spot drill the bottom because we're actually going to put a through hole with a tap through there. And it's already spotting and drilling on the back side, and now we're half indexing on that triple holder, and we're doing rigid tapping. Rigid tapping is included on this machine. Now it's on the front side on that same half index position, and we're going to finish bore this ID on the front side. Next are live tool stations. We're spotting the front, and this is a double drill holder, but it's one drill towards the front and one spindle towards the back. So now we're going to put the hex on the part. With Miyano making so many machines over the years, and these holders fit in multiple machines, you can get them not only from us, but from third-party tooling people like Hymatech. Here's a double front holder, so both spindles are actually facing front and nothing on the back. Rigid tapping on the live spindle. Rigid tapping standard on all 3 spindles. Here we are doing X-axis live. You'll see the part catcher come up in the back, knocking the part out. We'll come up for a bar pull. And the cutoff is already in position, comes down, saving time. And we'll cut off the part and be ready to repeat the whole process again. There's the included parts conveyor, dropping the part off to the right side of the machine. All right, so continuing live, we'll go over the bar loader now. So if you want to run continuous production on bar-fed machine, you're going to need some type of bar feed unit, and this is a bar loader that we sell. It's the M542. The M542 means that we can do 5 millimeters material up to actually 51 millimeter, but since this is a 42 millimeter machine, all we're going to go to is a 42 millimeter. You can come in and see a little bit of the inside of this. So this is a bar loader and not just a simple bar feed unit. Bar loader means that we can stack multiple bars in here, and once it finishes one bar and retracts and takes out the remnant, it's going to drop the next bar into place in continuous operation without operator intervention. We have a lot of other bar feeds for our other machines. We have our CAV units for our Swiss machines. We also have other size Miyanos that we have other bar loaders for, and if we have really big stock, we do have some bar feed units. If your part was a blank and you need some custom automation, we have a full automation department in New England, and they can help. All you need to do is come with your part to your distributor, and they will talk with our automation department, and they can come up with a way to load, say, if this was a blank, they'd be able to load it into the main spindle. Or if your part was finished on the back end and you did not want them touching each other and they could have no marks, we could come up with some type of outfeed unit that was better for it. They've done lots of different automation. They also do specials on tools. We've come up with different tool holders out of our New England office to supplement our machines and get more stuff done on the machines. MCC wants to be your one-stop shop, so when you have a machine from us, you purchase the bar feed from us. We also do high pressure units. We do mist-con units, which control the mist coming out of the machine. All of those are covered by us, and you have one person to call. You don't have to call 3 or 4 different vendors trying to get some service on your machine or your bar feed or your high pressure. You buy everything from the distributor, and it's all covered from an MCC warranty or service and support. Now would be a good time if there's any questions at all, which I did a great job and there's none. Okay. So there's a little bit of a 30-second delay, so we're going to see if anybody sends in any questions. While that's going on, one of the things that I did forget to go over was the FANUC control. This is a FANUC 0i control. And again, everything is included on this. You can't even buy extra memory for this. This has rigid tapping, as I said before, on all the spindles. It has a parts counter. It has tool life counter. It has tool life management. And what else? I'm leaving one out. It has circular interpolation. All of that is included. There's not an option on our price sheet that you can buy for this machine. So the question is, can we do polygoning? And polygoning is standard in the control, but you would need to figure out the size and everything from the part, and somebody would have to help design the tool, and the tool would come from a tooling vendor. Any other? So I guess there's no other questions at this time. I wanted to thank you for attending. That's my presentation. It's coming up is a video by Dynamic. So during INTS, we a lot of times have just a novelty part as a giveaway, and this is kind of showing off a lot of the features of the machine, but it is just a novelty part, and we're actually they're putting together 5 parts as they're making them on the machine and dropping all 5 parts off assembled together. Thank you again, Dynamic, for that presentation. Next, we have a presentation that we did. Our friends at Mitsubishi were having an event, so we submitted a video of our M532. Enjoy it.
Andy Archer. I'm the Director of Machine Tool Sales here at Productivity Incorporated. Today I'm standing in our Citizen-Cincom Miano showroom at our headquarters here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We also have facilities in Cedar Rapids, Iowa and Omaha, Nebraska. And our sister company, MMT, has offices in Denver, Colorado and Salt Lake City, Utah. First of all, I want to thank MCC for the opportunity to be here and to join this event. It is truly an honor. Second, and maybe more importantly, I'd like to thank you, our customers, because without you, we don't exist. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to show you a little bit about what Productivity has to offer, and then we're going to turn our focus to the Miano BNA 42 GTY, and we'll show you the unique features that this machine has that will help improve your bottom line. I hope you find this presentation helpful and informative. Thank you.
So at Productivity, we are a comprehensive machine tool distributor. Productivity offers our customers a unique selection of services and sales. Most of our competitors have maybe a line of machine tools. We have a range of a line of machine tools that cover whatever a customer needs. In addition, we have a really strong service group, also an applications group, a tooling accessories group, a rotary repair. We think almost everything that a customer would need related to metalworking manufacturing. But we've always had a really strong emphasis in local service. Do our absolute best to make sure the customer gets up and running as fast as possible. Our training group, we provide training almost every day for Haas-related machines. We also do on-site training for our customers as well. That's extremely important. People need to know how that machine tool works, not just what it can do. We also have a used equipment division that will identify equipment that's old in a customer's location. We'll tag it, look it over, and in many cases, somewhere in the United States, when this goes on an auction, we'll pay much, much more than anyone ever expected they would get by just having a local auction. We also have a group that provides tooling accessories. They are outside salespeople who are really dedicated to helping customers figure out ways to produce a part faster and better. We also do preventive maintenance. It's a lot cheaper to have your machine brought down to have it maintained on a regular basis than to have a problem and then it's down on an unscheduled basis. Our success is really what we see in our customers' success. When people think about productivity, hopefully they think about us as being fair. We provide excellent machine tools and services. What we also provide is quality services, integrity, and be the best we can for our customers.
The 5 gentlemen seen here are just part of our applications engineering team that is focused on turning, multitask machining, and Swiss-style turning. Combined with our staff in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska, collectively they have over 150 years of experience in manufacturing. Whether you lack internal expertise, time, and manpower, want greater accountability, or just don't know where to start, outsourcing your CNC engineering project to Productivity will help you solve your toughest manufacturing challenges. They are here to help you get the best of your investment in your Cincom or Miano machine.
All right, well, let's get to the machine here, the Miano BNA 42 GTY. This machine is built from the ground up as a bar feed machine to handle the specific requirements of a bar feed machine. Bar feed machines need to be extremely rigid to handle vibrations that might be transferred through the bar, rotating at high RPM. And they need to be really thermally stable so that, they're doing high production over long periods of time on parts that require extreme high precision. Well, let's look at the bed. The bed is the foundation of the machine, and we all know the foundation has to be solid. The design on the BNA 42 GTY is single piece, heavily ribbed cast iron. This bed provides for high accuracy over many years of use. It also provides for thermal stability and vibration dampening. Let's take a look at the slideway system on this machine. The BNA 42 GTY uses hand-scraped box weight construction. Again, this gives us higher rigidity and better vibration dampening than other weight type systems. A lot of competitors use roller guideways or they use ball guideways, and they just don't offer that same level of rigidity and vibration dampening. Both of those things, vibration dampening and higher rigidity, will provide much better tool life over long periods of time as well. Next, we'll look at the spindle. The spindle is really the heart of the machine, and the Miano spindle design is unique and extremely well built for bar feed applications. They have double row cylindrical roller bearings in the front for rigidity, angular contact bearings for precision, and 2 sets of double row cylindrical bearings in the rear for added rigidity. The spindle also has a very thick-walled construction, which again just assists in heavy-duty cutting and vibration dampening. This brings us to the control. The control is the Mitsubishi M730VS, and this is really the difference maker on the BNA 42 GTY. This control uses all of the technology that Cincom has developed over the years for faster setups, fewer errors by your operator, superimposition cutting where we're doing simultaneous operations, still using very easy programming technology. And so if you have not seen a demo on this control, I urge you to contact your local dealer and get a demo on this control. It really is the difference maker. So when you put those basic design features together with the tool layout on the GTY, you come up with a machine that is simply outstanding for bar feeding work under 1 5/8". We have the gang slide that has both turning tools and live tools, which allows for pinch turning or pinch milling in conjunction with the turret. And then you have the tools on the gang slide that face the rear, so we can be working the rear side at the same time as we're working the front side with the turret, and the turret can work both the front and the rear. So a lot of capability here, a lot of flexibility. It all comes down to just simply making your parts faster because of the overlap simultaneous operations. One more very important thing to add there is we have Y-axes on the gang slide and Y-axes on the turret. They can be used together on the front side for pinch milling, or they can be used independently. We can be milling on the front side and milling on the back side simultaneously. I hope you're still with us, because now comes the fun part. No more words, just watching the BNA 42 GTY in action. Thank you for watching, everyone. Again, I hope you found this helpful and informative. I'm sorry we didn't have the chance to get together at IMTS this year. I hope we'll see each other down the road. Until then, stay safe. Thank you.
Test. So we are testing camera 1, mic 1. Jin-Ho, give us a thumbs up. Okay. And over to camera 2. And we are testing camera 2, mic 1.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see including with this thing.
Okay, we're going to turn off the mic, Jin-Ho, and go to 3.
Pre-recorded.
Allendale Machinery is a third-generation company. We were started in 1981 by my grandfather. Prior to that, he'd worked with many different machine builders and distributors throughout the country from the early 50s. After serving in World War II, he went to Georgetown on GI Bill and then started working in the 50s and brought in a lot of the machines you see today. We now have our third generation. My father and my uncle, Marty and Andy, are the ones running the company and pushing it forward even farther. With that, we've slowly grown and taken on many different lines and products. We've gone from just being a machine tool distributor to being a full service company, offering our customers tooling, service, applications, training, and really just helping them find the manufacturing solutions they need to grow. Allendale as a company is looking to help our customers compete globally in the manufacturing market space. We're really trying to be the ones that support manufacturing in the United States. We're doing this by offering our customers manufacturing solutions that are going to allow them to be efficient and be competitive in that global market. Helping customers pick the right equipment, helping them maximize that equipment by giving them proper training, by having our engineers work with their people to optimize any programs or any tooling they're working with. And then in the end, keep the solutions up and running with service, being there ready with parts and the expertise needed to keep them making parts, making sure that all is up to the standards that we've set for ourselves. Our hope is that when they work with Allendale, they come to realize that we can offer some great solutions for them, and from there move forward and work with them on other projects.
This machine is a Citizen-Cincom L20, primarily used to make long and slender components, milk turn, but you can also do short components as well. It really strives in a production type environment, high volume, short cycle time, multiple shifts a day, holding tight tolerances. This machine is typically seen in the medical field, aerospace, defense, a little bit of industrial as well. Really covers a broad span, more geared towards high volume environments where part tolerances are critical.
Allendale offers engineering support for machines like the one behind me. If you are a customer that may already have one and you need to make a part faster or with a better surface finish, or if you have parts coming in that you've never produced before, we can sit down and help program, tool up the machines, get them set up and get you running. For our medical customers, we'll even help assist with the validation and make sure the parts are up to spec and approved by the medical industry.
Key features of this machine is it can perform multiple operations at the same time. You can do milling, you can do turning. Both sides are working at the same time, op 1 and op 2, so it really reduces the cycle time a lot. A lot of different functions can also be performed, such as gear hobbing, polygon turning. The sky is really the limit with this machine on what you can do. Extremely repeatable, quick, small work envelope, decent amount of power for the size of machine it is. So the part that I'm running right now is a bone sprue, heavy medical application. It's a long and slender part. We're running it in aluminum for this demonstration so we can run the coolant off so you can really see what's going on. Once you turn that flood coolant on, it just becomes a monsoon in there. You really can't see anything moving around. Typically bone sprues come in a variety of materials ranging from titanium, cobalt chrome. All of those materials really need the coolant on. So for this demo, we were doing aluminum. Key features on this particular setup, the primary one is the thread whirler. It allows us to cut long thread in one pass. This is important for a Swiss type machine because you shouldn't be drawing back into the guide bushing. You can only cut roughly 3/4 of an inch at a time. The thread whirler allows you to cut up to the maximum stroke of the machine in one pass. Multiple inserts spread out the load over the course of the threading operation. Another accessory in this machine will be our spindle speeder. It amplifies the speed of the machine. In this case, I'm running 6,000 RPM on the machine motor, but the spindle is outputting 24,000 RPM at the tool. On the main spindle side, we're using turning, milling, and thread whirling. On the sub-spindle side, we're using turning and milling as well, but the milling being the spindle speeder, so we're actually achieving a very high spindle RPM. We also have a part ejector that allows us to spit the part out at the end of the cycle and repeat to the next one without stopping. To optimize the process in this particular application, I was able to speed up some of the backside work. Reason that's really beneficial on this machine is you're working both sides at the same time. So any second that it's idling on the backside is just free time that you can gain. So I was able to bring more work to the backside to balance the cycle time out and actually decrease it as a whole, part to part.
just a simple video from another one of our distributors showing a nice process we call eccentric turning. So please enjoy. Welcome again to day 2, session 2 of MCC Tech Days, our alternative to IMTS this year. And I'd like to start this off with a quick story. You know, when I work with our colleagues, our friends, and even a lot of our customers during the show and even over non-show times, often it's asked and talked about, you know, what is your first IMTS? And so I'm kind of going to start aging myself, but my first IMTS was 1986. It's very memorable for me because we had some pretty solid technology at the time. We actually, today we have full automation department, multiple design engineers, multiple electronic engineers, we have assemblers, and we have a full machine shop ready to make automation products for you. But back then, we really didn't have this, and there was actually, we had more people, but involved with this project was actually our president today, Mr. John Antoniani, my brother, Jay Such, and myself as a young 21-year-old technician trying to figure out what IMTS even was. And we actually had, if some of you remember these models, we had an E32K that had a 10T control. And we actually had 2 different probes. We OD probed for size and we ID probed. We actually interfaced a robot. The robot came in to pick up the part, and we brought the part over to a washing station, and then we presented it to the customer on a pallet system. I happen to still have this 1986 part. Let me get rid of my paper here. And some of you may know this infamous part, what we call the trophy cup. And again, we did measuring on this diameter, we did measuring on the ID, and we picked it up right here and pulled it out of the machine. So pretty interesting part. And so I'm going to continue here. And besides that technology, if you know or not, Citizen actually used to sell, and we brought in a high precision mill called the NF4. Well, we had an NF4. It happened to be the 100th anniversary of the Statue of Liberty. And to celebrate this throughout the country, there was all different celebration. We made a part on the NF4 that was about a 3/4 inch square wafer, where we actually engraved a picture, an image of the Statue of Liberty, and wrote, you know, Statue of Liberty in 1986. But on the reverse side, we actually had whole paragraphs written, and it was actually the definition of precision. So Webster's defines precision as, and a little bit later down we had Citizen defines precision as NF4. And so these are my great memories. I hope to someday or next IMTS share some of your memories with us. As we, you know, had these good times, as we go to this year, not being able to go to IMTS, it's not so exciting. And so we wanted to bring to you our MCC Tech Days, and we thank you for joining us. So here we are in MCC, Illinois. I'm going to have you switch to number 3, please. I would like to get a quick overview of MCC. MCC Illinois is one of 4 MCC offices. We have one in California, Illinois, New England, and New Jersey. Altogether, MCC has about 125 employees supporting 17 distributors nationally, including Mexico and Canada. Our MCC headquarters is located in Allendale, New Jersey. We always try to have machines available in all 4 MCC regions, along with many demo machines placed across the U.S. at many of our 17 distributors' locations. We support our many distributors who support you locally. If you need a part review or a demo, please let us know. I think a quick view of our showroom will help you to visualize a booth-like atmosphere, simulating IMTS. Now let's take a look at the new L12 Type 10. And so to start, as we talk about the new L12, this is the latest iteration in the L series. And again, I keep reviewing this number, 1986. Here's kind of a did you know. In 1986, we introduced the first L16, the first of the L series. Actually, through all of this time, there's many iterations of many models, 16s and 20s. We're down to 12s. We have 32s. We had 25s. And there's actually over 20,000 L-series machines produced throughout the world. Just a good fact and a good start to this demo of the newest version L-series, the L12 Type 10. And if we start to take a look at the unit itself, the first thing you see is the new concept that Citizen gives us on most of our products is this very upswinging door, very easy access to the machine. I think all of us and all of you that already have it love this concept. We have this on our D series, we have it on our L32, and as designs come, we're trying to do this more and more as we can. The next thing that I want to show you from the outside of the L series is down to the tank. And it's kind of strange, we're talking about a coolant tank, but you'll notice it's bigger than, say, a normal tank. And so this is, again, a new MCC standard that we're offering, the chip conveyor ready tank. 2 things this gives us. So if later in life you want to add a chip conveyor, we don't need to ship you a whole new tank and replace. We can just ship you a chip conveyor, and it reduces the cost. But with that, this gives us an extra 14 gallons of oil. And so extra coolant gives us better time for when high pressure coolant systems for air to dissipate from high pressure situations. And also it helps reduce the temperature or keep a constant temperature. And so just things to notice from, again, a new standard for MCC is these types of coolant tanks. Now, if we start to go into the machine, let's review some of the internals. So first, we're just going to look into the tooling area. And actually, Brad, can you come call up tool 8 and bring it up in the air, please? I have my engineer helping me. Brad's helping us today. It's just going to give us more room. Go fast. Since the door is open, everything's a little bit slower. And I'll start now as he's moving it. Go to return position, please. So starting off, if you know our L series at all, the L20 has all half-inch tooling, but when we went to the L12, it's all 3/8 tooling. Well, again, this new model, L212 Type 10, we have half-inch stick tooling, and there's 6 tools. Now, optionally, you can change this block and have 7 tools with 3/8. We opted for the larger tools and hope that you agree with us. Now, if we look more to the left here, this is what's the newest section of the Type 10, and that the whole gang plate here we call GSE holder has an additional block that's capable of mounting as a cross tool at 90 degrees with modular tooling in it, or it can be swung all the way around for face tooling, but we have it actually set at an angle. This is not programmable, this is fixed, and we have it set to 50 degrees, and we'll show you our part later of what we're doing. But again, so we have modular live tools. This tool can come out and it can go here. This tool can come out, they're switchable. Now, if we look a little bit up over the top, if I can ask Todd to try to get the camera in here, and Brad, if you can cue up to move the Y2 axis. On the subspindle side, we have two tools available, and these are static tools, but we call them long deep drill stations. And so Brad is showing us that this machine now has a Y2 axis, and this Y2 is attached to the subspindle also. What that gives us is some customers that are picking off very small parts in our medical field can have no marks on their parts. Well, now we can, within 1/10 or 50 millionths, make the subspindle aligned to the main spindle because it's programmable and offsettable. And in doing that, we can make a perfect center. Now, on all of our other machines, we have to change shims to get perfect center, fully programmable. So the Y2 axis is the next new on the L12 Type 10. Now, if we come over and look at the back tooling area, we'll get these out of the way. Because it's got a Y axis on the subspindle, now we have two rows of tools on the subspindle side. The top row is capable of static or live tools, and the bottom row is capable of static tools, and there's 4 and 4. And we're going to talk about it again later, but I'm going to mention while we're here. So here's a live tool that we actually have a special in. This is a 4-time speeder. And again, to remind you, since they're, I'm sorry, my magnet's sticking. Since they're modular, this tool can actually be put into the gang plate here, over to the GSE holder. That holder can come and fit on the subspindle side, all changeable. Another notable tool here that we're going to show you in a minute, if you can see, we have a 2 live spindle. I'm kind of contradicting myself. I just told you that the bottom row is static, but what we have is a customer wanted a special, and we made it a semi-standard now, that when we slide this tool in, it's actually gear driven by itself, and we have 2 live spindles in 1 station. We could actually have 8 face live tools here. So some interesting things about the tooling of this machine. And if we talk about the speeds, this machine has 35 inches a minute. It's about 1,400 inches per minute. It's the fastest in the L series, so a very fast, quick little machine. The main spindle's 15,000 RPM, should be anything good that you need. The subspindle is 12,000 RPM. Our gang live tooling is 10, and our backside tools are 9,000 RPM. Now, there's so many iterations of tooling that we want to break away for a minute and show you a presentation and show you some of this tooling. So can we go to 3, please? And so you already saw this standard tooling, but what I want to show is that, remember that the GSE block is capable of rotating 90 degrees, and that's man adjustable. And so if I continue, here's a shot of all the different tooling. If we look in the upper right, it's showing the Y2, a little bit hard to see by the camera, but he did a good job of showing you. We have 2 tools and what we call the T20 stations. And in the lower right is a better view of the subspindle dedicated tooling, which is 2 rows. Remember that the top row is considered live tooling and the lower row is static tooling. And if we continue on, I want to just show you that so many optional tools are available. So in this view, there's an optional tool of a second angular head. So the one on the left is the one that's standard. And on the right, it's we can have 2 groups of angled tools available on this machine. It's actually the first available since of all of our machines other than the D series, so a great feature. Now, if we go and say, well, I don't need all that extra angle, I just need more face tools. We can slide in a block, a GSE 4307, and now we have 3 more face live and 3 more back face live. These are optional, but I just want to make sure you know they're available. And if we continue, here's how many face live do you need? So our GSE spindle is modular. So we remove those 2 cross spindles and put in 2 sets of face tools. So here we have the ability of 7 front and 7 back live, 14 live tools in this little machine. Let's start to go more. What if I don't need it live? What if I need it static? So I just need a couple more static tools. I can put the one on the right, which is just a dead station of drills. If I need more than that, I can put them over on the gang plate. So here we have 9 front, 9 back, 18 static tools at your disposal. Fantastic options for future. And so now if we look at the back working area, we have all different sleeves available, and maybe these pictures are not the easiest to see. In a moment, we're going to show you these live, but we have all, we can take a static or a live and just change them to anything you need. And as we said, since we do have our own R&D department and tooling and accessories, a customer on the East Coast had a need from an older model that we just need more live tools. They presented it to our designers. Our designers whipped up a concept, made a tool, and here we have the ability to take out one station, slide this into the top and bottom, utilizing 2 stations, but we have 2 live tools driven by the top. So again, if you have a creative idea, please work with your distributor and let us know. If you need a special, we can make it. And so I want to go over to the tool holders themselves. And if we take a moment, I want to show you some of these tools. So first is, this is a standard live spindle. And I'll wait for Todd to tell me he can see it good.
See it pretty well.
Okay, and so this just goes all throughout the machine, and the cross, and the top cross, and in the sub spindle. So I'm sorry that I'm moving around, but if we take that out, we can slide in its place, fits right in, a 4-time speeder. So this tool is gear driven. It's not an electric spindle, and we can get to near 30,000 RPM with this guy. They can't go the full speed ×4, but near 30,000 RPM. It's usually good enough. Now, if we take that out, and here's the one that I showed you, and sometimes seeing it in person is better than the graphic. Here we can slide out that same live tool from the top, slide this in, and now we have 2 driven spindles from one location. So interesting stuff, just for you to know. Now, if you saw the stations on the back side for static tools, this would be what we would call standard. And again, that live spindle from the top row can come out, and this would go in its place, and that's a static tool. And what I find interesting is there's lots of customers that I visit that I see these are all modified and cut. And it appears to me that they don't understand we have other tools to offer. So if I look at the next tool here, and I'm going to hold them both. This is a built-in tool we've had for the L series for a long time. I'm going to cheat and list the number, the GDS 210. And if I line these 2 up together, here you'll see, look how much more distance you have to go for the drill. It's also plumbed for the certain machines that have a plumb for the bottom for high pressure. When this goes in, it's plumbed. That'll be the bottom row. Now, if we take that same, and that's new to the L212, is that this is a ER10 version. I'm sorry, ER16, 10 millimeter version. And this is a ER11, 7 millimeter version. It has even shorter distance for when you're running out of space and you need longer tools. I just want to just note that these are available to you. Please just ask your distributor. And if we continue, on our front side in those T20s, we called it, attached to the sub spindle, sometimes we're really trying to use this tool and we're really trying to extend the sleeve, and it's starting to be a weak setup. So we have these tools that are made for short stubby tools or center drills, spot tools. And what this is going to do is just slide in and give you a nice rigid on center, perfect, without all the possible error of the extension. So look for these sleeves. They've been available for years. Just make a note of it. Please just work with your distributor. And then in one more case, you saw on the video that we're changing all different tool blocks. So because it's modular, again, on the main gang plate, we could take out that live spindle and we can put in its place this 3-position static holder. So the L12 Type 10 gets us right into the standard L series, very modular layout that can't be beat. If you need another tool, we probably can get it in there. Now, with those tools being added like that, I want to show just a little bit more of what Cincom does for us, what Citizen does it for us with software. So here we have a face static holder. You can see it's in place. And so now if you're a beginner programmer, a beginner setup person, most other machines, when you call up a tool, you have to know everything. What this is going to do, Citizen knows this tool's installed. And so it's actually going to go down on the lower right, go across the whole gang plate, and come up in between these tools for you. You're just going to say T1100, and this motion's going to be automatically had. If we look at the next slide, it gets a little bit crazier when we add more of these tools. And you know, if your part was sticking out to 2 inches, a Swiss part, and you're running, and you're going to call up a tool, somehow you got to get around it. Citizen does this for us, called Cincom Control. So the ability to, you just say T1100, T1200, and it's magically going to take a safe path to get there. And so we're going to go at this point, and I want to just talk about the actual part that we're running today. And so I want to make sure that we're going here. We are. And so what we wanted to show today was a good L12 part, a 1/2-inch part. It is 1/2-inch stainless steel with a long turn. Some of you may recognize what this part is. We changed it a little bit and added some features. If we could zoom in on this angled hole, and I'll wait a moment here while you do. I'll try to hold it steady. And so we have 3 face angled holes, angled holes, and they are spotted, that if I flip the part around, we have 3 holes that meet these by phasing. We also have a keyway slot done through the Y2 axis on the subspindle side. And then we also have, using that high-speed spindle, a 30 thousandths face hole. I'll hold here for a second and see if Todd can show that.
Pretty good.
And we come around and that intersects with the hole here. And so another feature, a new not even new anymore, great technology of Citizen is LFV technology, the ability to break chips. So we're going to go to a video. This is so hard to see in the machine with the coolant. We elected to run the part out of actually brass, and you're going to see it run in a video, and I'll explain it as we go. So we were excited to run this part. It's always fun to watch LFV go. So LFV, even on the subspindle side, we do. The first pass here is actually without LFV. You'll see some larger chips. I'll wait for this one. Here we go. That's without LFV. Then we turn on LFV, and you can see the perfect length chip. We can control that by program. And so we can change the length of the chip of whatever we want. We don't necessarily want it too tight, too small. Here we're utilizing that tool holder we showed you, the tandem tool. And so we didn't actually need this tool for this job, but we wanted to show you. Here's that 30 thousandths hole. We're running at about 12 or 14,000 RPM. And here we have a 90-degree milling head, Y2 axis. So we have a full 3-axis, actually 4-axis with C milling of whatever you want to do. We did the keyway slot. Now here's LFV, and maybe it's not so impressive in brass, if anybody can cut the brass. So we did it in stainless the best we could and showed it the best we could. And if you look on the left, this is the exact same feed and the same cut, LFV on, LFV off. You can see this long, unmanageable chip, and you'll see it even get longer there. And on the right side, there's no chips. So LFV chip breaking technology, it's just fantastic. It just works. Here we have the GSE block. Again, we have it mounted at 50 degrees. And now we're coming in with our drilling station. But also remember, we could put high-speed spindles here. And we have G codes that make that easy to program. You just pretend it's a Z axis and G83. Subspindle phasing for alignment front to back. And a straightforward little quick demo that was about 1 minute and 50 seconds out of stainless steel. And we're going to go to camera 1, and Brad is going to show us some of the chips that LFV actually did. So if you look on the left side, these long stringers are the ones you saw on the video. When you're doing that heavy of a cut, you're not going 5 thou, 8 thou per rev. So I think we're at 1.5 thou per rev, no, 1 thou per rev. And if you look on the right side, this is LFV. It just works. And we can control that to whatever we want. So the entire cut was controlled to that type of chip. And so we could spend an entire presentation, an hour, on LFV. And our goal is just to introduce it to you here. So please work with your distributor, look online. We have YouTube videos everywhere. Just search LFV and get a little bit more acclimated to this technology. And so now, as we talk about a part in all the different tooling and the features of the machine, we really got to talk a little bit about the control. So Brad, can you show us a little bit of machining data? And so actually, I'm going to keep throwing these numbers around. 1986 with that first L series. And as I speak, if you just go up and down and show some of the screens. And so 1986 with that first L, Citizen, this was a breakout year for Citizen. Basically, the way that I explain it is all of our design engineers got into a group and said, what can we do to make the next new concept machine? And the manager said, throw away all your notebooks, throw away all your papers, we're going to start from scratch. And what they came up with was the addition of machining data. What they found out is 70% of all crashes at the time that they did a study, and I would say USA was the same, 70% of all crashes happened when the machine was not running. It's when man was involved. We changed a tool, we set a tool, we cut off, getting the machine ready to run. And so a part of Cincom control, its machining data, is along with preparation. And so we can just push a button and the machine will move to a cutoff motion, and it will close the collet, turn on the spindle, and cut it off. And so since all this information is known, it's remembered. When you send out a program and bring it back in, it's a part of the program. So not only the stock size and the position point, but let's actually show the non-guide bushing. A feature that I didn't explain yet is that this machine is capable of guide bushing or non-guide bushing. And if we take a peek inside, if Brad was to set that, we have the ability to utilize this machine in non-guide bushing mode. And it's pretty straightforward that this is a cover that's covering a belt that's driving our spindle that comes through and drives the guide bushing. We have a very easy way. It takes about 15 minutes, probably less to undo, 15 minutes to put back. And this will actually slide up and it'll store right here. You can see the bolt location. And so we don't have to take parts out of the machine, we just disengage them and move them into storage locations. Once that drive device for the guide bushing is off, we install this new spindle cap that comes standard with the machine. And you can see it's got a nice surface. This is just like a quill. There's a plastic or sealed surface that this slides on so the coolant and chips don't come back. But once we choose what Brad showed in machining data, this will allow us for this spindle to go all the way forward and get to the cutting tools. And so in doing that, we can run this Swiss machine that's always guide bushing in non-guide bushing mode. Some people call it chucker mode. We're really not a chucker, we're a bar machine. So I typically say non-guide bushing mode. And so let's continue a little bit more with utilizing machining data. And so the next section is we showed you all of those special tool holders, and there's so many tool holders. Are you in a good spot?
We're good.
Okay. So if you come down, Brad, and why don't you set 9 to a face tool? Actually, show preparation first of what we have now. And so if we look at tool 9, it is a single cross tool, and it shows us that it's a single cross tool. And a tool number allowed is 9, it's 1. So now let's go to machining data, and we're going to change that and say that we have a 3-face static tool in, would be a number 3. And so now the machine knows that it's a different tool block. If we go back to preparation, which is how we can see how the machine's running, you'll see now we have 3 number 9s. We have a 9, a 9R1, and a 9R2. And as he iterates through those, you'll see a little arrow here, just R1, yeah. And so it's a very visual control, we call Cincom control. It only has more tools when you need them. Most of our competitors, when they put a tool block like this in, all they have is tool 9. And they have to use special offsets that they have to figure to get to the next tool, to get to the next tool. For us, it's made by Citizen, designed by Citizen, it fits in, and we run. And so Cincom control. You can change that back so we don't mess up our setup, please. And I want to talk a little bit more about Cincom control, and I have, again, another little video for what we call on-machine program check. Now I have to jump ahead here, but again, since we chose those tools in the system, it knows, and it's able to overcome these special tools. And so Cincom control gives us many things. This specific model has a Mitsubishi M70, very fast, high-speed macro. Standard as we can run from the CF card through sub-programs. And it's the staple in the market, Cincom control. Well, if we look at other features, we have on-machine program check. This is a feature that's, it's not quite, it's a similar versions all the way back to 1986. And as the years went on, it got better and better. The hand wheel dial came out around the time of the B12, and this was right around 88 or 90. And so let's take a look at on-machine program check. Oh, I'm done.
You have more?
Harvey.
How long is this?
Short. this is all that the operators decide to control. Get to a spot that doesn't look proper, you can actually reverse. You can actually edit code. Maybe you've got an error here. Edit code, continue. Very important feature on the program check. So our fantastic feature on machine program check. Before we move on, we're going to talk about the bar feed a little. I'm told there is a couple questions, and I'll try to answer them. And so the first question is there coolant through on the turning tool block like there is on the M series, M532, and on the, it's stating the wrong one, so the D25 has this also, but the L12 Type 10 at this time does not have coolant through built into the tool block. There are stick tools we can use and quick change for some, but not built into the Citizen tool block. It was too tight of a space at this time. So the second question here is there any cycle time change if we use LFV or without LFV? The actual answer is no. LFV is staying at the same feed rate, but the tool is moving off and coming back at a very specific rate to keep the standard feed rate. But sometimes LFV could have us slow down the feed for the cut we're doing because we're doing it in one pass instead of rough and finish. So your part process may or may not be longer, but also understand sometimes it's a slower feed rate, but we have more parts in the bucket at the end of the day, which really is reducing the cycle time, and you have to think of it that way. We have one more question. The question is, how many axes can control with LFV? So LFV has multiple modes. We have mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, and on all of it, it's 2 axis simultaneous. So for example, if we were doing angle turns or radiuses, we're utilizing 2 axis with LFV, we would be, for example, on the gang plate using 2 axis. But if we were doing it on the subspindle, we could do the same thing. But if we were doing an angle cut on the subspindle and the main spindle, that's 4 axis simultaneous LFV, that we can't do. But we can do a single long cut on the main spindle and a single drilling on the subspindle and have 2 different systems running LFV. So I hope that answers your question. Again, if you want to get more into that, please work with your distributor. It's hard to get so technical on this questions and answers. Before we continue to the CAV, is there any other questions to review? Okay, well, we're going to continue on here. And as we go live, we're showing our new CAV. This is a CAV 12 LSIS. And Brad, if you can open her up for me, please. And so what's new about this bar feed's capable of 1 millimeter to 16 millimeter. As I say that, I didn't mention earlier that we have kits to go on our machine that this 12 can actually be 16 oversized. And so when we do that, this bar feed can also handle 16. But for the moment, this is a 12. Well, the one thing that you're going to notice is these screws. And so anytime that we're trying to feed small stock, it's easy once the bar is in the channel, but it's getting the bar stock from the outside surface into the channel that's the difficulty. So in this case, we're running 6-foot bars. So if we can come maybe in this area to show. And so of course these would be longer, but just to demonstrate the screw working, anytime we exercise it, it only goes 1 revolution. So go ahead and bring it up a little. We purposely have these empty so you can see the bar load in a minute. And so when we're loading this, we're just going to put 1 bar in and cycle down 1. Put 1 bar in and cycle down 1. And always, you can stop, always when the bar drops in, it's only 1 bar can make it. So the screw type makes very good for small bar, 1 millimeter to 16 millimeter. So as we continue, this also has quick change channels. So I don't know, can you get yourself on? I can do it here if it's easier. So these are just pressure plates. So this channel is changed just by popping it out and putting another one in. We give you 2 channel standard on all of our CAV product. And so it's about a 15-minute changeover to go from different channel sizes. If we continue, this type of bar feed, since it's built by us for us, it's run by the control. The control itself does the axis and all I/O. And so when we make settings, we do automatically from, again, that machining data area. It knows the part length, and then knowing that, it knows how to set itself up. So it's all built in. And if you want to change things for special applications, you actually can. And the next feature is when we go to guide bushing or non-guide bushing, many other bar feeders need to have a slide mechanism, and it needs to slide into the machine. This product will work for both guide bushing or non-guide bushing, whatever setting you have. And actually, to make this the best that you can see, we'd like to give you a demo of just a bar load. So Brad, if you could get ready, and don't do it yet, we'll make sure the cameraman can get in. And so if you could, Todd, all the action that's going to happen is going to be in this area. So if you could see this area, and it's going to be right here. And so Brad's going to execute a bar change, and you can see one bar feed process. Go ahead, Brad. Yeah, I had the doors open, I'm sorry. So the CAV 12 LS-IS, screw type bar feed, 1 millimeter to 16 millimeter. Well, this kind of stuff always happens when you're live. Let's give it 1 second here. And as we go, we're going to run one cycle of the bar feed. When you end up doing this, you have the doors open, so we just have to overcome our door issue. There we go. Here we don't go. Okay. We're trying to do that and we don't have a piece of bar in there. So we're gonna skip the bar load. Sorry for the confusion here. But to just explain the one more, so this is a space-saving type bar feed. So what's gonna happen is the pusher's gonna come back. It's actually gonna pull the remnant off. It will fall. It will actually flip the pusher up out of the way, then the bar drops in. That saves us an extra 3.5, 4 feet of bar feed, if I can get my paper out of the way. And so in doing this, we do a pre-push. The channel comes back down, and we can use the gripper and come on. And very standard for the rest of the bar load process. Go up and hit a switch and enter. And so, again, this is our CAV 12 LS-IS. So we would like to thank you for having this demo today. Before I get into the ending, I want to thank some of the people that helped us here. So tooling for us was supplied by Dia Edge, Mitsubishi Materials. So we thank them for joining with us on this project. And we do a lot with Esprit. And this machine, for an example, this machine is newer, and Esprit didn't know anything about it. So our Brad actually started working with them, and within 3 days we had a full post for the Type 10. So if you need a post for a Type 10 and you have Esprit, please just contact your local seller. And so I'm being told there is a question. I can't see it. Can you repeat it?
So the first one is, what's the maximum high pressure for L12?
So what's the maximum high pressure for L12? It's the same. It's our same pump, and it's 2,000 psi. And so our max high pressure is 2,000 psi.
Next question is, will LFV work for drills?
Okay, so it's a good question. Will LFV work for drilling? And actually, its first design was for drilling. Really small chips, so we don't have that very long stringer chip. So LFV breaks the chips. It's fantastic with drilling. And so We have one more question there. What's the smallest channel available? So we can run 1 millimeter bar in this CAV 12 LSIS, but the smallest channel is a 4 millimeter channel. And if desired, we can get 4 millimeter screws. And what that gives us is, if I'm not mistaken, 28 bars on the rack. And so you get more bars on the rack as well. But yes, the smallest is a 4 millimeter. Well, I would like to, again, thank you for joining us today. And it's our pleasure to put together our alternative to IMTS, MCC Tech Days. I want to show a couple of our distributors' videos. As I said in the beginning, we work very closely with our distributors. They're our team, and they actually quickly volunteered and said, we want to be a part of your events. And so I'll come on one more time at the end, but I'd like to show a couple of our distributors' videos. It's a new technology that we are starting to work with, and I'll let the video play.
Hello, and welcome to MCC Tech Days. My name is Mark Zarbach. I am the bar loader product manager for Marubeni Citizen-Cincom. Today, I would like to show and explain a new technology that we've been working on for future development on our A320, C320 bar loader. We have developed an Ethernet link between the A320 and the C320 that will give us almost real-time communication between the machine and the bar loader. Not just signals, but actual data. With this, we can now send information from program to the bar loader by using macro variables like overall length of the part, short feed safety, long feed safety, and torque setting for the pusher. We also receive from the bar loader using macro variables like bar remaining, parts remaining, and pusher position. And here's an example of almost real-time info sent from the bar loader to the machine. As I move the pusher by hand, see custom macro 443. Now with this type of information being sent through the program, if the operator or the setup person forgets to send the bar loader info, the information will be sent by program. We are also working on having this information of parts remaining and pusher positioning showing up on our operator screen. Another new feature that we'd like to add to our bar loaders is last bar sensor. So if the lid is closed and the machine is in automatic and the last bar is loaded into the channel, now with the lid still being closed, we have a warning light blinking that states that there are no more bars left in the bar loader. Please be on the lookout for this option and Ethernet connection between the C320 and the A320 in the near future. Thank you for your time, and please continue on watching the MCC Tech Days. Thank you.
So we want to make sure that you understand we are a single source offering supplier. We sell, of course, the products, the Cincom and Miano machines, but our high pressure coolant is our own, and our mist collection, our tooling and accessories. We showed you many examples of our special toolings we make for you, for customers. Our automation department can do just about anything, just ask them. We even have our laser group that very creative cuttings, and we saw a demonstration yesterday from the laser group. We have magazine bar loaders for all of our products from 1 millimeter to 64 millimeter. And the key here is local support. Our distributors are trained. They've been with us for 15, 20, 25. Some of the distributors are 30 years. So we're here to support you, and we thank them for that. And so with the single source supplier, any issues at all, you have one phone call. It's either your distributor or MCC. So we're here to help you. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and everybody stay safe and have a great evening. Thank you.